Today's insight from me comes from my training session Monday morning. It's always a good one to get in the bank. Makes you mentally tough, starting a week on your terms, making sure that the week starts as you are going to make it go on. Let's not put it to chance, folks, let's make it happen. Anyway, so what did I do? I did some relatively heavy deadlift work, and then let's take these ear warmers off, and then straight on the watt bike I did 6 sets of 1,000 meters with 90 seconds recovery. And what did I learn? Number one, the watt bike's minging. Pushing that lactate threshold after 45 seconds is disgusting. So I'm trying to get all 6 from under 1 minute 30, which is, you know, I'm not an endurance athlete, let's be honest with it. I've never been naturally fit, but for me, if I can build up to 10 or 12 and keep them all under 1 minute 30, I'm happy with that. So, what did I learn? On my 3rd or 4th rep, I was at bollocks. I lost track of my recovery time. So I was writing down the times I was hitting, okay, it's on a piece of paper next to the bike. And if you're not familiar with a watt bike, it's not like a Concept 2 rowing machine display. What you've got to do is, you time the 1,000 meters, and then you've got to use a sort of secondary stopwatch. So we've got a clock that the watt bike's facing our gym. So you just sort of manually, it's just a normal clock, just sort of manually watch the second hands go around for a minute and a half. So if you finish the interval and the second hands is at the half-past mark, then you're going again on the minute, aren't you? A minute and a half later, obviously. So I was at bollocks. I was trying to distract myself with the pain, and I forgot, I couldn't remember whether I'd already had 30 seconds recovery or whether I'd had a minute. Now this is the point I'm making. So what I've made a habit of doing over the years is then always doing the extra bit in these situations. So often when I'm training, I'm concentrating hard. If I'm doing deadlifts, I sometimes forget exactly how many reps I've done, or more importantly, I'll forget how many sets I've done. Now let's just say you go out and you're aiming to do 4 sets of 8 deadlifts, and you're going heavy, and you tend to lose track, don't you, when you start to get fatigued, because you're having to put more mental effort towards your technique and your effort output onto the barbell. And what can easily happen is you think, maybe not when you're doing 4 sets, maybe if you're doing, say, 6 sets of 8, I don't know, 6 sets of 6, you start thinking, have I done 4? Or have I done 5? Is the next one my last one, or have I got 2 more left? Now that's what I did on the watt bike. I was thinking, have I had a minute, or have I had a minute and a half? And what I've built a habit of doing is always overestimate how many rests you've done. Sorry, always underestimate how much rest you've done or how many sets you've done. In that, if you think that you've had a minute's rest, or it might be 30 seconds rest, just treat it like you've had a minute's rest. And that set, you're going with less rest. So you're going on that set with only a minute rest instead of a minute and a half. Well, let's say on the deadlift example, just do the extra set. So you might have been right, you might have only done 4 sets, you might have done 5 sets, okay, you might only have 2 sets left, but do a 3rd set if you're not sure. What this does, I'm going to tell you what this does, but I'm going to tell you something that's really important that I've learned. So what it does is it builds that mental fortitude that when it gets difficult in life, in sport, in the workplace, with your family, with your personal health maybe, if you're running your own business, things get difficult. If you're working for somebody, things get difficult. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be obstacles that sit you back on your arse. And what you do when you're down on your backside counts. So, are you going to sit there looking up at the sky feeling sorry for yourself with some self-entitled attitude, looking for someone else to rescue you, not taking personal responsibility for getting back up, blaming someone else, being a big ass victim? Or are you going to take personal responsibility and pick yourself up and continue forward to meet your objectives? Now, I'm pretty fired up about it, because like anyone else, I've had a lot of setbacks. Now, it's an area of passion for me. Now, what I used to think, and this really is the take-home message, what I used to think with certain people that were mentally built a certain way, and maybe there is, through upbringing, through self-confidence, through childhood experiences. Maybe there's people out there that naturally think like that without having to think about it almost deliberately. That's the word I'm looking for. On a conscious level, that's what I'm looking for. So maybe there's people that subconsciously think like that. I'm not one of them people. I never have been. When the shit hits the fan, my head, like most people, wants to go down. It does. But through experiences, childhood experiences, college experiences, university, a couple of big things happened at university. I might tell you the story of one day that nearly cost me a lot in my life. And actually did cost me some stuff in the end. Sporting achievements or non-achievements, both childhood and adult. Okay, as I got older, I was playing semi-professional rugby. You got used to taking the knocks physically but mentally as well, and there's a lot of politics coming to a team sport like there is many other sports. So my point I'm making is that don't just assume that you are not one of those mentally tough people, that they're the other people. Them people are born like that. I wasn't born like that. And taking this victim attitude that you're different, you're special, I don't think like that, I can't think like that because I've had X, Y and Z happen. Well, do you know what I've learned? Is that mental toughness is something that you have to forge. And the only way to forge it is by taking a positive attitude from the outset and then practicing that positive mental attitude on a daily basis. And the single best way I've learned that is through my own training in the gym. Without a fucking shadow of a doubt. Without my training, I don't know where I'd be. And it's things like that where you think, do you know what? Shit's going to happen in my life. I've fucking got that shit inside me when it matters. When I need that mental reserve of energy and fortitude to support the people around me and support my family and support myself, I've got that shit. And I know I've got that shit. And I know I'm going to get tested. But I'm doing as much as I can possible to not fall apart and support those people around me. And that's where, when I talk about fitting your own gas mask first, if you've got a family and you're feeling guilty about spending 100 quid a month on gym training, you know, at the end of the day, you shouldn't do. Because that's an investment in you. And when you make an investment in you, guess what? Everyone around you benefits from it. That's the fact of the matter. So, takeaway message. 2 takeaway messages from this video. Number 1, always do the extra bit. So another one, a bit of an OCD tendency. If you're going for a run, okay, and you get to a fucking little bit of a corner in the road where you could go around the outside, you could go around the inside, a little shortcut. I'm not talking shortcut bloody half a mile through bloody cutting through people's through someone's back gardens or something like that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like a matter of fucking meters or something like that. So, you know, let's just say you're running around this area here and you could run out that gate and run all the way around, or let's just say there was a little hole in the fence behind where I'm stood. Don't take that easy option, right? Because you know then when you fucking need it, you've got that extra little bit in the tank that 99.9% of the population doesn't have. Because do you know where they're going? They're either going around that fucking shortcut or they're not even going at all. So you'll get the rub of the green, you'll get the opportunities going your way, you'll be the successful one, you'll be the one that everybody looks up to and says, oh, that fucker's got it easy, or he's just lucky, or this. Okay, that wants to be you. You don't want to be one of them victims looking at other people and making excuses. Takeaway tip number 2 is that nobody, I don't know if nobody, maybe some people are born like that, but I wasn't born like that. And it's like a skill you've got to practice, the same as if you're a kid and you want to do kick-ups. You could just look at the next kid and think, oh, he's naturally more talented, blah, 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 blah. His dad practices with him every day. Or you could just do that shit every day and practice it and get good at it. And I think a lot of the world's top achievers in different areas are certainly the ones that maybe don't have that natural talent and they've had to work a little bit harder for it through practice. I think that's what you'll find in all walks of life, not just in sport. So they're my 2 takeaway tips. If you like this video, you want me to do more videos, leave me a comment underneath. Let me know what you thought of this video, maybe some of your own personal experiences. Let me know if you disagreed. Let me know some stories from your own life. Okay, peace out guys.